It's me, Luna, with another unboxing, because witches love unboxings. Today is another kind of oddity, and today I'm, excuse the gravel voice here. Lots of things I'm allergic to are blooming right now, so I've got a voice box full of cannonballs, apparently. But today is an odd deck, and actually two odd decks, and I want to know from you. Once I get done with this, I'd like to know if you want a separate video for this one. I'm certainly not going to do them together. But this is called the Creative Whack Pack by Roger von Oech. I'm assuming O-E-C-H. And then this is the Innovative Whack Pack. Innovative Whack Pack. Similar but new version of it. I mean, not a version, it's a separate deck, but it's similar in style to this one. So let me know if you want me to review that one separately as well. Anyway, the Creative Whack Pack. Roger von Oech is an internationally recognized leader in stimulating creativity and innovation. His seminars and presentations have enriched the creativity of over 500,000 people around the world. He is the author of the best-selling creativity books, A Whack on the Side of the Head and A Kick in the Seat of the Pants. What a technique! That's from ABC's 2020. Roger von Oech has won a loyal following around the country. That's from Business Week. The Creative Whack Pack is a creativity tool. It will whack you out of habitual thought patterns and allow you to look at what you're doing in a fresh way. The Creative Whack Pack is a creative thinking workshop in a box. It consists of 64 different strategies. Some highlight places to find new information. Some provide techniques to generate new ideas. Some lend decision-making advice, and some give you the kick you need to get your ideas into action. The Creative Whack Pack is a gift for your creative gift. Playing with it will make you more creative. This is U.S. Games, 1988. One I got very early on. And what I really like about this deck, because we're used to going to decks and oracles for spiritual advice. You know, what does spirit need me to know about this? And we're looking for deep patterns, but sometimes you're just really stuck on a practical level. And you need something practical to knock your brain out of whatever rut it's been in. This deck has some strong foundations in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. You may have heard me mention this in videos before. It is the science of understanding how your personal program is programmed. Strike that, reverse it. Thank you, Willie. And so neuro-linguistic programming is how your personal computer is programmed in images, in words, and how to get at that programming to alter it. So we can get into ruts, thinking ruts, creativity ruts. You know, there are roadblocks that we throw up for ourselves. There are roadblocks that the structure of our culture and society throws up for us when we're trying to create. And so this is a deck that can shake you up a little bit, shake you out of your rut and out of your doldrums, and bring some fresh new information. And so yes, it is a divinatory deck, because sometimes we don't have any idea, you know, should I be doing research? Should I be doing something creative? What should I be doing? And so this deck, used as a divinatory tool, can really help you get out of those stalled places. Okay, let's take a look. Creative Whack Pack, now this says 1989, the bottom of the deck says 1988. Getting started. This is a creativity tool. It's based on the idea that sometimes you need a whack on the side of the head to jolt you out of habitual thought patterns that prevent you from looking at what you're doing in a fresh way. This is the reframe. You know, looking at things in a new way is what NLP calls a reframe. You can use the Creative Whack Pack alone or with others as a mental stimulant, a creativity workshop, a guide to the creative process, and as an oracle. Let's take a closer look. The Creative Whack Pack consists of 64 cards, each bearing a different creativity principle. The 64 cards are divided into 4 16-card suits: Explorer, Artist, Judge, and Warrior. These represent the 4 roles or types of thinking in the creative process. So the Explorer cards are blue, and they highlight places and ways to find new information. The artist suit is orange and provides you with idea generating techniques. The judge suit is green and lend decision making advice. And the warrior suit is red, and they give you the kick you need to get your ideas into action. So let's take a look. Give yourself a whack on the side of the head. So let's just read the first card here, so you'll get an idea of what these cards do. Let's look at the back. Creative Whack Pack. Very much not the style of your typical Oracle and Tarot deck. The more often you do something in the same way, the more difficult it is to think about doing it any other way. Break out of this prison of familiarity by disrupting your habitual thought patterns. Write a love poem in the middle of the night. Eat ice cream for breakfast. Wear red socks. Visit a junkyard. Work the weekend. Take the slow way home. Sleep on the other side of the bed. Such jolts to your routines will lead to new ideas. How can you whack your thinking? So here you can see exactly what this deck is about. Taking you just, here's a new approach. All right, let's go through the rest. Look somewhere else. Where else can you look for ideas? So I will just read this and then the blue at the bottom. Get out of your box. In what outside areas can you look for ideas? Borrow ideas. What ideas can you borrow? Who was it that said that 99% of genius is knowing what to steal? Maybe not 99, maybe 90% is knowing what to steal. I think that might have been Oscar Wilde. Find the second right answer. Change questions. How can you change your question? So instead of asking, the first group, so they were talking about a plague striking a village and people getting buried alive. So Google the origin of Saved by the Bell, and this will explain it to you. People were getting buried alive because they really couldn't, they didn't have the instrumentation to detect brain activity and subtle things, and they would bury people alive. Okay, the majority, hoping to save lives, voted to put food and water in every coffin. Another group proposed a cheaper solution: implant a foot-long stake in every coffin lid directly over the victim's heart. When closed, all doubts about the victim's condition would vanish. What differentiated the solutions were the questions used to find them. Whereas the first group asked, what if we bury somebody alive? The second asked, how can we make sure everyone we bury is dead? So it's a fun deck. You're going to learn a lot of fun, interesting things with this deck. See the big picture. What are the larger implications of your idea, and how does it fit into the big picture? Expect the unexpected. What are the two most unexpected things that might happen to your current project? Use a random idea. What random idea can you use to stimulate your thinking? Find a pattern. What patterns can you use to better understand your idea? See, hear, taste, feel, smell. What other senses can you use to develop your idea? So the random thing, when I was in college and I was taking a creative writing class, and we were coming up on our first, starting to write our first story, and we had to turn in a page that said, just a couple of lines. Here's who this story is about. Here's what my main character wants, and here's why they can't get it. So you had to tell, who your main protagonist was and what the conflict was that you were setting up to resolve in this story. Could not come up with anything, couldn't come up with anything to save my life. Finally, like right before class, I was sitting in the student center. It's like, oh my God, I got to come up with something. And the name Crandall came into my mind, and I said, Crandall is a pig that wants to fly. He can't fly because he's a pig. And that's what I started with. And that story wrote itself, and it was a story that I wrote years before Babe came out, but definitely echoed some of the themes in that. Damn, I wish I could have submitted that to Disney so they could have stolen it from me. But anyway, just a random idea. Throw it out there. Give yourself a problem to solve, and that can take you into new places. Okay, what other senses can you use? Listen to your dreams. How can you relate a recent dream to a current problem? And you know that trick in your dreams of going, I made everything in this dream, therefore everything is me. And you name each thing. This tree in my dream is me. I am a tree because I have deep roots. I can grow. My branches spread. I give shelter. I'm wooden. There's a lot of different ways you can work with your dreams. Look to nature. What pattern and cycles in nature can you use to develop your idea? Look to the past. What were you doing 10 years ago that might be useful to you now? Hear the knock of opportunity. Where do you hear opportunity knocking? How can you answer it? See the obvious. What resources and solutions are right in front of you? So that was the first suit of the Explorer, giving you new ways to find new information. This is the Artist suit. So this is new ways to idea generating, creativity generating. Use your imagination. How can you keep the artist alive in you? Think something different. What different ways can you think about your ideas? What do you see in this picture? Do you see a bird? Do you see a question mark? Shift. Do something to it. What creative things can you do to your idea? Ask what if. What offbeat what if questions can you ask about your concept? Be wacky. What wacky things can you do to your idea? So the artist thing is asking you to go way outside the box and just not look for logic, sense, reason. What we're looking for here is just to shake things up creatively, to really infuse new creative juices. What rules can you break? What new rules can you make up for your idea? That's the Gordian knot. You know the story of the Gordian knot? There was this, according to ancient prophecy, whoever could untie the Gordian knot was destined to become king of Asia. All who tried failed to solve this strangely complicated puzzle. Then Alexander the Great had a turn. After fruitless attempts to find a starting point, he was stymied. Finally, he said, I'll just have to make up my own knot untying rules, and he pulled out his sword and sliced it in half. Asia is fated to him. Combine ideas. What different ideas can you combine? What can you compare your idea to? How can you reverse the way you look at your idea? What else can you call your idea? What innovative changes would someone else make? Imagine how someone else would do it. And this is one of the cardinal rules of NLP too. If you want to have success in a certain field, find someone that's already been successful in that field and copy what they did. So simple. Copy what they did. Imagine you're the idea. How would you feel if you were the idea you're developing? What would a 5-year-old see if he were looking at your project? What could you ease off? What are you trying to force that needs to ease off? Pause for a bit. What problem are you working on that could benefit from a pause? All right, next, the judge lends decision-making advice. What's your decision? Just fucking make one. What's positive about the idea? Why won't it work? What's it lacking? What doesn't feel right about the idea? So here's a reframe. When you are setting goals, there's a whole and a list of things when you're setting a goal to help you refine that goal and really hone in on what you're actually after. And that is, you define a goal and then you say, what will I have when I have this thing? What will exist when I have this thing? What won't happen when I have this thing? What will no longer exist? What will happen if I don't get this thing? And what won't happen if I don't get this thing? So it just really helps you refine. And that's, I feel that being pertinent to this suit. What doesn't feel right about it? Solve the right problem. Are you solving the right problem? Ask a fool. What would a fool say about your idea? Where should your focus be? Focus on the real truth. Okay, 2 men went to a Sufi court to settle a dispute. After the plaintiff made his case, the judge said, "That's right." Then the defendant made his case, and again the judge said, "That's right." At this, the clerk of court exclaimed, "They both can't be right," and the judge replied, "That's right." Moral: truth is all around us. What matters is where you put your focus. Great stories. Check your timing. How is it? Slay a sacred cow. What sacred cow can you slay? One of the biggest creative blocks we can get is just by being precious with our ideas and absolutely married to them. So you can have a spark of inspiration. Kind of like I had this spark of inspiration that had me saving brandy bottles over 2 years, and it was ridiculous. We finally got rid of them because I wanted to do an etching thing, and I wanted to do these patterns on them, and I got these lights that went inside, and I had all this like really elaborate idea that just couldn't pan out. And I held on to those for so long before it was like, this is not realistic. I can't figure out a way to do it right, and just let them go. So recognize where you're getting precious. If you're a writer, where you're getting precious about a character, oh, they would never do that, you know. Actors go through this, having, you know, being precious about their character and not allowing themselves to explore the character fully. You know, they want to be good and cool or whatever. So looking at where you are being precious and where you have sacred cows can really free you up. Loosen up. What can you take less seriously? That goes along with a sacred cow thing. You take it too seriously. Listen to that hunch. What hunches do you have about your idea? Flex your risk muscle. How can you exercise it? Slay a dragon. Where does your fear hold you back, and what dragons can you slay? Don't fall in love with ideas. There we go. There's the sacred cow thing. What part of your idea are you in love with? Kiss it goodbye. And, you know, it doesn't mean that things can be gone forever. Just kiss it goodbye for now. See what that frees up in terms of ideas. You may actually be able to pull back the essence of your inspiration in a new way that can actually become manifest. Avoid arrogance. Where does ego adversely affect your performance? What ideas do you have waiting for expression? Trust yourself. Use good ideas. That means you can mine other people's stuff for good ideas. Fight for it. So here's the warrior part, to kick you into action. What are you willing to do to put your idea into action? See yourself creative. Are you? Do you see yourself as a not creative person? Well, how are you going to be creative if you can't get past that? Map out your plans. Can you visualize yourself reaching your objective? Take a whack at it. What are 5 ways you can take a whack at your idea? Be dissatisfied. Recognize what you're dissatisfied about, and then let that push you in a new direction. Put a lion in your heart. What puts a lion in your heart? To fight a bull when you're not scared is nothing, says a well-known bullfighter. And not to fight a bull when you are scared is nothing. But to fight a bull when you are scared, that is something. What gives you the courage to act on your ideas? Having a well-thought plan, encouragement, faith in an idea, past success. Get support. How can you create a support system around you? What 3 factors will make it difficult to reach your objective? How can you get rid of these excuses? What do you have at stake? What are 3 things you can do to reach your goal? So identifying steps, identifying small steps. This is another way we self-sabotage, is by taking on too much, too big of a project, or taking on a big complicated project, rightfully so, no problem with that, but thinking of it in terms of the whole thing at once. So if you find yourself stuck because of something like that, what you can do is just say, what 1 step can I take today towards this? And you start chunking it down into maybe phases of the project, and then chunking it down into actual individual activities, which each have their own individual steps. Then you are working towards something. And also remember, a plan is key. I did some study in project management a little while, and it's a wonderful way to learn how to think backwards in terms of a goal and a launch date, and thinking backwards, what do I have to have in place by when for this thing to happen? And now I forgot what I was trying to. What 3 things can you do to reach? Okay, just the daily stuff. Oh, and the thing is, the difference between a dream and a plan is a calendar. If it's not on a calendar, it's only a dream. Expect resistance. What resistance do you expect, and how can you overcome it? Sell, sell, sell. How can you make your idea more attractive to other people? What tight deadline can you give yourself? So again, giving yourself deadlines for each small little step rather than the whole project before you've broken it down into doable parts. Be persistent. How persistent are you? What mistakes might you make on your current project, and what would you learn from that? What mistakes have you made in the past that you have learned from? So value mistakes. This is a big thing about NLP. Colonel Sanders is like one of the poster children of NLP, because he had this fabulous recipe for chicken that he thought everybody would love, and he shopped that recipe to 1,000 different people before somebody took the idea on. Okay, he didn't say I'm a failure and learn from mistakes, because here's another rule of NLP. Everything you do will succeed in producing a result. Everything succeeds in producing a result. Then you decide, is that the result I was after, or isn't it? If it isn't, you make adjustments. You will always succeed in producing a result. So you can kick that word failure right out. Give yourself a pat on the back. Now go out and earn another one. And we're at the beginning again. So what do you think? Tiny, tiny little book. This is it. Exercise 1, let's get acquainted. You go through the deck. Exercise 2, your creative style. Go through your deck card by card and put each in one of 3 piles. Pile 1 represents the things you've done in the last month. Pile 2 represents the things you've done in the last year. And pile 3 are things that you rarely do. What sort of pattern do the different piles create? Are certain suits dominating each pile? What is your strongest suit? Which is your weakest? What do the different piles say about your personal creative thinking style in the past year? Excellent exercise. 3-day agenda is exercise 3. Go through your deck and select 5 cards for things you'd like to do in the next 3 days. Place these cards in a prominent place, such as your desk, refrigerator, or dashboard. As you accomplish each activity, return its card to the deck. Then there are creativity workshops. There's group brain whacking, creative license at meetings, creativity oracle. Many cultures have developed divination or oracular tools to give counsel to their members when making decisions. Some examples include the I Ching, the Greek Delphic oracle, the Egyptian tarot, the Nordic runes, North American Indian medicine wheel. Purpose of these oracles was not so much to foretell the future as enable the user to delve deeper into his own intuition when dealing with a particular problem. So there are several methods for using it. What should I do next? What's an alternative approach? What am I not seeing? What should I be thinking about? Clearing your mind, shuffling the cards. So let's see here. I would like to ask, first of all, my allies and ancestors, my guides and guardians, to come in and help facilitate a beautiful message for my viewers. And as I put the fire of Azrael on, I offer you fresh water. I offer you fire of Azrael. I saw a cat hair go on there too. So, and I also I offer you the burnt offering of a sacred cat hair. Oh my goodness, losing my voice. So, Whack Pack, please give us an idea. And I'm only going to take one because this could take us into a deep dive here. Please give me an idea on how we can deal. Oh man, I want to say, you know, with people whose minds can't be changed, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to take us into the territory of how do I try to change people, you know, because you can't. So how do I adjust my thinking and behavior to best deal with the difficult people in my life? Let's put it that way. So in dealing with difficult people whose minds can't be changed, oops, that one flew up. I'm going to pull that one out. And then I'm going to ask for one more. People, and obviously you want to come out. Okay. Break the rules. Hi, John Lewis. He is coming through to talk about the good kind of trouble, getting into the good kind of trouble. Napoleon broke the rules on the proper way to conduct a military campaign. Beethoven broke the rules on how a symphony should be written. Most advances in science, medicine, art, cooking, and design have come about when someone challenged the rules and tried a different approach. What rules can you break? Okay. So, talking about civil disobedience, first of all, we can break those rules. We can break laws that are not good laws. If we accept the consequence of knowing that we're breaking a law and, you know, what the legal consequences of that might be. Maybe just break the rules of engagement. You know, sometimes I'm thinking about the fact that what happens when you, when you deal with a narcissistic personality, when you deal with a toxic personality, and you are playing by the rules and they are not. Rules such as when you're in a conflict with someone, and when we're talking about deeply personal relationships here, the rules of fair fighting say you don't bring up the past. If you have a thing in the past that has actually been discussed and resolved, you don't bring it up and throw it at the other person then. That's not fair fighting. No name calling and swearing, things like that. With this, break the rules. I mean, if somebody else is breaking the rules, does that mean it's okay for you as well? Maybe the rule you break here is that I don't have to stick around and engage with this person. Maybe that's a rule that you can break. Avoid arrogance. Ooh. On the morning, and Napoleon again, on the morning of the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon Bonaparte smugly assured his generals, "I tell you, Wellington is a bad general. The English are bad soldiers. We will settle this matter by lunchtime." Don't be blinded by arrogance. A little humility can help you steer clear of disaster. What's your blind spot? Where does ego adversely affect your performance? Okay, so the avoid arrogance thing, and let's see, the green was what? Judge? The judge? Yes. Decision-making advice. So avoid thinking you know it all. So maybe what we do here in breaking the rules, you know, maybe we're used to engaging people in an adversarial way, and the rules of, you know, you're wrong-headed and I'm right-headed, and so if we argue, I'm just going to come at you like you're wrong. Maybe breaking the rules there are, let me step on your side for a moment and try to understand what your thinking is. Please explain to me what your thinking is. And so maybe that's the big rule we need to break here, is breaking the rule of thinking we are adversaries. It really is true that we all want the same things as human beings. We all want love. We all want shelter. We all want food. We all want to feel useful and valuable. We all want to be regarded equally. Unfortunately, the difference between one side and another can often be that one side thinks that there's enough for everyone, and we can all live this kind of life of equality and fulfillment and empowerment, and there's plenty for everyone, while the other side is thinking from a zero sum, that if somebody else gets more, that means necessarily that I get less. And that kind of mindset you're not going to change. I mean, but could you engage with someone in such a way that they can then be led to a realization that there's enough for everyone and no one's trying to take something from them? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But the avoiding arrogance, if you wanted to do that and learn how to guide some, you know, I practice this a lot in customer service. I used this a lot when I was managing customer service, because I would get on the phone or in an email with somebody that was super pissed, just super pissed off about something. And rather than, you know, animosity and fighting against them, it's like, how can I get on their side? How can I say, I am so sorry, I really understand what you're upset about. That would upset me too. Let me see how I can help you. And it can calm things down so very quickly. Where if I'm arrogant and I'm talking to the other person like they're a dumbass, what's going to happen? Defenses come up, and then you are in an adversarial position and nothing gets accomplished at all. So avoiding arrogance. There was one person that was awesome. It was an email, and we had these hair sticks that we sold that were made in Vietnam. They were made from water buffalo horn, and they had these beautiful color striations. Some of them were just solid black, and this person got a hair stick and was absolutely positive it was plastic. You know, and they were just flaming out the gate. They sent an email, and it was just like, bah, how dare you? These are plastic, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know, I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I understand why you feel that way, because they were very well polished and beautiful. And it's like, you know, but I assure you, here's the source, and this is where they come from. And they still weren't buying it. And just, you know, well, you can say that, blah, 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 blah. So I said, okay, well, here's something you could do, though I don't want to tell you to ruin your beautiful hair stick. If you take a match and you light the end of it and smell it, the smell of burning hair will convince you that it's made of buffalo horn, because horn is the same kind of protein that makes up hair and fingernails. And after like 3 emails back and forth, this person finally, I could feel him just go, and they said, well, I like you, Luna, at any rate, because you could have been nasty right back to me. I was nasty to you, and you have been even-tempered and professional and the whole way through, and I really appreciate it, and I'll take your word for it. So avoiding arrogance is a very, very good thing. And I want to take one more here, just for what can we do today to survive and beyond survive, thrive. Whoa, there goes. Okay, flex your risk muscle. We got a whole bunch here. Bullseye every time? If so, you're standing too close to the target. As comedian Woody Allen puts it, if you're not failing every now and again, it's a sign you're not doing anything very innovative. Everyone has a risk muscle. You keep it in shape by trying new things. If you don't, it atrophies and you're no longer able to take chances. How can you exercise your risk muscle? Well, I think I'm getting ready to exercise my risk muscle next week. You'll find out what that's about. Actually, this will air after the fact, so you will have found out, if I've managed to keep my deadline, how I have flexed my risk muscle. Anyhow, that's the creative whack pack. And yeah, I mean, you can see just going through it, what it generates. As far as, you know, things that I have to teach and things that I've learned, it really does generate creative energy for you. So I would recommend this to anyone, whether you do oracles or divination or not. This is a very practical tool for generating creativity, and we all deserve that. We all deserve, you know, the kind of practical advice that gets us unstuck, especially when, you know, we're asking for spiritual answers and they just ain't coming. Sometimes we get the same answers over and over and over again when we're asking our spiritual decks, and it's like, okay, you keep telling me that, but how? How do I do that? That's the deck that can answer how. I hope you got something out of that. Please like and subscribe and click notifications, though there's a video every damn day. That's pretty easy to remember. But still, it'd be nice to hear a little ding when you know I've got a video up. I think it would. I think you are so valuable to me, and I appreciate your comments. Let me know if you want to see the Innovative Whack Pack, although after doing this, I'm pretty sure I'm going to review that one as well, because they're just gold mines. Please take care of yourself. Please be safe. Please do best practices. Please support your friends of color. Please vote. Please do everything you can to add high vibes to the collective, to add these vibrations to the group mind and the vibration of this planet, so we can lift humanity up to be better stewards of this planet. Thank you so much for being here. This is Luna the Zen Witch. I will see you tomorrow for another unboxing, Wednesday for a live stream at 8:30 Eastern. Until then, blessed be.